Rey is not a Mary Sue. Let me say that again. Rey is not a Mary Sue. I'm so sick of people trying to claim that. She's a totally different character archetype instead of a Mary Sue. Before you keyboard warriors get on there in the comments and all that, let me explain. I'm JohnBerry555. This is a Jedi Ranger, and this is why Rey is a chosen one, not a Mary Sue. So first we gotta understand our terminology. What is a Mary Sue? And there are many different ways people use it, including to claim it's any female character that they don't like. No, seriously, I've seen people use it that broadly, and I'm afraid Rey is a victim of that mentality. No, meanwhile, the power fancy female who's scantily clad from the 80s, they have no problem with. But no, a modestly dressed female who's extremely competent, they do have a problem with. Yet that scantily clad one is more of a Mary Sue. What is a Mary Sue? Well, it comes from a Star Trek fan fiction story where there's a character named Mary Sue who basically saves the day. I'm very much summarizing, but a Mary Sue, if you look at how it came about, how people typically use it, it's generally a female character, though there are Gary Stews and other terminology people use for male characters, to basically refer to any character who basically the plot bends around. Their wants, their desires are fulfilled. No, it's very much what they want is what they get. They achieve any goal that they personally set out for themselves. They're extremely competent. They encounter no actual conflict. And by conflict, I mean struggles, difficulties. They're able to just breeze right through. No, if Rey was a Mary Sue, she would have been saying, Palpatine, stop being evil, and he would have stopped being evil. Am I exaggerating a little bit? Perhaps. But what I really want to illustrate is that a Mary Sue is just not a strong female character. It's specifically a character that basically achieves the impossible without another explanation besides they're just so awesome. But I said Rey's actually a chosen one. That fits a lot better. Because she does not get what she wants. She gets what she needs to fulfill, to achieve her destiny in the story. This is a totally different character archetype. She's extremely competent, yes, but that's because she has a role to fulfill. She still has struggles. Throughout the entirety of The Force Awakens, Rey wants to return to Jakku. Her entire goal is to return to Jakku because she thinks that her family is going to one day return for her. And if she was a Mary Sue, I think that would have been achieved. That's what she wanted. The plot would have bended to allow that to happen. Instead, the plot bends to allow that not to happen because she has a destiny set forth by the Force to fulfill, to defeat Palpatine as we see in The Rise of Skywalker. Now, I will admit, not all of that was planned out in advance. But that does not take away from the fact that even when you look at just The Force Awakens, Rey was being set up as having a destiny that the Force has chosen her to fulfill some goal. And that goal, as we ended up seeing, was defeat Palpatine, but before it could have just been seen as stop Snoke and Kylo Ren, stop the Empire 2.0 from destroying the galaxy and undermining everything that the heroes set out. Rey achieves not her goals, but the goals of the Force, and along that way she learns something about herself. She learns to eventually, by the end of The Rise of Skywalker, overcome her own internal doubts. She has a lot of doubts about her own ability, her own... Basically, she doubts that she can be a hero very much. Look at what she did when she thought she killed Chewbacca. She was totally in panic about that. And then she kills Kylo. Yes, she saves him right away, also bringing Ben back as a return. But she goes and exiles herself. That's not something a Mary Sue would do. A Mary Sue would never have been in that position in the first place. But a chosen one who needs to learn a lesson would be. Rey is a chosen one. This is a totally different character archetype. We can debate the merits of chosen one as a character archetype, which in all honesty is a kind of a poor archetype when you really think about it. Not as poor as a Mary Sue though, of course. And this also brings up another point. Oftentimes people are claiming Rey is not a Mary Sue, like I did, would bring up Anakin and Luke, and how they also had very easy journeys per se, especially when it comes to mastery of the Force, especially for Anakin, not so much for Luke. But when you really take a look at it, they're chosen ones as well, especially Anakin with a literal prophecy as a chosen one. Luke does not have that same prophecy, but he is very much still fulfilling the role that the Force set out for him. He would have never made that shot in A New Hope without the Force assisting him. He would never have destroyed the Death Star. A few weeks ago, I made a video where I speculated about how things would have gone if Thrawn was in command of the Death Star during the Battle of Yavin. And one of my points was that Luke still would have destroyed the Death Star, because that was the will of the Force. In Star Wars, the Force exists. This is not like Star Trek where, okay, you could say the Q are manipulating things, but ultimately, in Star Wars, unlike Star Trek, there is basically a personification of the Arthurs, the Force. And the will of the Force is literally the plot armor, the Mary Sue-ness of any character, the chosen one of any character. Star Wars literally, in its fantasy sci-fi setting, has a method built in for characters to achieve the impossible in defiance of the odds or the logic. So yeah, Rey is not Mary Sue. She's a chosen one because the Force, the authors, willed her to be a chosen one. Now, if we were talking about Star Trek, yeah. If we were talking about any other franchise that did not have some kind of personification of the will of the universe, of gods and deities, yeah, sure. We can talk about Mary Sue's all we want then. A Star Wars story that doesn't really talk about the Force at all, yeah, I think then it's safe to say that we could probably call a character like Rey and Mary Sue. But as long as the Force exists in Star Wars, we gotta call Rey what she is. A chosen one, not a Mary Sue. But those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.